Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for a look at some oversized vintage baseball cards here on the channel. So I've got a stack here of about 10 cards picked up on COMC that are all from the era where companies were printing the larger size trading card than what we are used to in the modern trading card game. So these are, majority of these are from the 50s, probably all of them. And yeah, we're just going to look at 10 of these and get them filed away into the collection. And starting with a beautiful 1953 card here for my set that I've been devoting more and more time to here on the channel and in my collecting pursuits in general. But I do intend to finish the 1953 top set, and I need this George Metkovich towards that end with the Pirates, very menacing Pirates logo. And here's a look at the back. These are just fantastic. So yeah, I mean, this is well loved. It's got some wear around the edges, a little bit of staining here, but generally a very nice looking card and exactly what I'm looking for that set pursuit in slot 58. So that's a nice start to today's festivities. I think I have one other 53 in the stack here, if I recall. Here's another set that I'm working on from the 50s, the 1955 release. Chose this one because it's relatively small, just barely over 200 cards in size, and this Joe Frazier will go into that set build as well. So pretty cool one there. The Cardinals. And then I'm also working on, I kind of picked out one set from every year of the decade of the 50s to passively work on over the course of my lifetime. And for 1954, I chose Bowman over Topps. I love 54 Topps as well, but decided to go for the Bowman release because I really enjoy 54 Bowman. And here's a Don Lund with the Tigers from that set, flashing the pearly whites here. Backs are not that exciting compared to Topps of the era. So, I mean, here's a 54 Bowman back. By contrast, here's a 55 Topps back. So much more going on the 55 Topps back, but Bowman is all about the front to me. I love these sort of painted photographs that they used, and just beautiful cards. So one towards that set. Here's a rare football card. You do not see these that often on the channel. Not a huge football collector, but this is from the All-American set. Don't have the info in front of me, but I want to say it was like mid-50s. 1955 maybe. Somebody can clarify in the comments. I'm not a big football guy at all, but I found this just kind of randomly searching around. It was like less than $2, and I just thought this image of Ed Garbish, the center, about to hike the football with that old school like leather helmet on and the Army logo in the upper left corner, and then that kind of black and white game backdrop in the background. Just a beautiful looking vintage card. Although I am not a football collector, I'm an appreciator of all vintage, you know, regardless of sport. If I see a card that visually appeals to me, that's that old, and it's, you know, priced that cheaply, I'm kind of, it's hard for me to resist. So there's a rare football card here on the channel. Continuing along in the 50s though, in baseball, here's a 56 Bobby Morgan. And of course, you know, picking my set to collect for the 50s from 56 on, Bowman was gone, so Topps is the choice of default, you know, by default. So picked up this Bobby Morgan, pretty well loved. It's not a perfect condition card. None of these are, but again, $1 to $2 price point. Love picking up these commons, even if I don't know anything about the player, as is the case here. I just love the look of the cards. Here's a non-sport card. I think it's going to be the only one of those in today's episode. This is, I believe, a Topps release, again from the mid-50s. I forget exactly what this is, but it basically shows a Tiger Cat, F7F Tiger Cat, Navy and Marine Corps fighter. So essentially an airplane card from the 1950s. And just cool artwork there. Like, I love the radiant, like, sunset, I guess that would be, coming out from behind the plane. Just a really cool painting. And then the back, you get you know, a cartoon, a write-up on the plane. So I guess Wings is the set. Pardon my lack of knowledge. As you can see, I am all over the place on COMC to the point where I'm buying cards that I can't even identify a year or two later when I finally get around to processing them, but cool looking card either way. Here is another 55 to go with the Joe Frazier that we saw earlier in the episode, Ray Jablonski. And the highlight of this one for me is the fantastic Mr. Redlegs logo that was used for the Reds cards in this set. I mean, that is awesome. Just a fantastic logo. So Ray Jablonski, card number 56. A little bit of yellowing here on the back, but I mean, still a very presentable, beautiful looking back. I love the cartoons and all of the color on these. Just gorgeous. So 2 cards closer to the 55 set. Here's a set that I really love, but I'm just focusing on tops from this year, and so I just tend to neglect it. I've only, I have limited hobby funds, as we all do, and this one doesn't seem to make the radar as much as I wish it would. 1953 Bowman Color. Look at that beautiful card. Known, of course, for its simplicity, just a plain white border, and then a full color, very clear for the time photograph. Here's a look at the back of this Harry Perkowski. Another Reds card, just by circumstance, probably because maybe Reds cards are just cheaper than some other teams from the 50s. Certainly the Red Sox, Yankees, and Dodgers tend to be more expensive than the Reds. But, I mean, I'll buy cards like this at a cheap price point all day long. Don't really know too much about Harry Perkowski. Apologies to anyone who's offended by that, but just a beautiful looking card. 2 more to go here. And we have a second football card, which is kind of miraculous. Again, this is from the 50s, and this is a Bowman release. I want to say this is 55, but I really forget now. I'm going to get my football card collector license taken away by somebody in the comments, but I've kind of passively been picking up these as well, just because I love the like angelic effect that's achieved, or like the glowing effect by whiting out some of the background behind the player on an otherwise plain colored background. Don't know anything about Dorn Dibble other than that he has a pretty hilarious name. And that's a cool Lions logo there as well, with a football player sort of like riding on the back of a lion. That is awesome stuff. Couldn't tell you the first thing about Mr. Dibble, but again, just a great looking card. And as was the case with all of these, was just dirt cheap. I mean, these are all in my collection because they were up and available on the site for under $2. That's really the reason that I picked them up. Not sure if that's still the case. It very well may be, because a lot of these are just commons. But let's close it out here and get this done under the 10-minute mark with another 53 set edition. Card number 26, Dale Mitchell. Looking kind of stoically off to the horizon here on his Cleveland Indians issue from 1953 Topps. We got the now banned and controversial Chief Wahoo logo in the lower right. And just a beautiful painting, as all of them are in the 53 release. Stunning looking card. This is really, really in good shape. Like a little bit of edge wear on the lower left corner here. And obviously the corners are not perfectly sharp, but what a beautiful card. Just presents so cleanly. Here's the back. Gonna look at that facsimile signature. And just a really, really well designed back. So 2 cards closer in the 55 top set and 2 cards closer in the 53 top set after today's video gets posted. So really no complaints there. Whoa, my camera's kind of freaking out. Sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed these 10 oversized vintage cards. Love adding stuff like this to the collection. If you get the proper vintage size penny sleeves and top loaders, they're no more difficult to store than a modern size trading card, and they really are beautiful. So appreciate you sticking it out for over 9 minutes here. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.